Tashtale, good evening everyone. Welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly feature in English that tells you about this week's news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Central Tibetan Administration. Let us look at the headlines. His Holiness the Dalai Lama says the United States is a global leader for world peace. United States House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi lauded CTA for providing outstanding leadership to an incredible democracy. Tibet TV releases an exclusive interaction with United States congressional delegation. On Wednesday this week, His Holiness the Dalai Lama graced the public felicitation organized by the Central Tibetan Administration in honor of the high-level bipartisan United States congressional delegation led by U.S. House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi. The felicitation was attended by thousands of Tibetans and Tibet supporters who thronged the Tsoglakhang temple to express their joy and appreciation to the visiting 8-member delegation. While expressing gratitude to the congressional delegation, His Holiness the Dalai Lama described America as the global leader for world peace. His Holiness said,
구직 서로 차대요래. 아메리카 시장 개심을 해. 자, 내년에 인다 아메리카 저서 공업에 인다 팀이 나저대 루부도 군주를 배시우지 말해. 나도 로만 그 권에 나도 멋이제 여대가 된듯이 땅문에 디 템부여배 나도 저보다 깜짝 차대요래. 세상 지나도 일이 될때 창아 폐쇄. 아니 별거죠. 자주 동심 냠지다 담배 잡jo기 남주 그게 별자시 미망 되네 자한테 땜어놔야 돼. 그거리 체스 수위.
His Holiness also added that Tibet supporters are supporting the core strength of Tibet's struggle, that is truth and justice, and that Tibetans consider China as a friend. Leader Nancy Pelosi paid tribute to His Holiness the Dalai Lama as a man of compassion, vision and hope. In an emotional recollection of the United States congressional visit to Tibet in November 2015, Leader Pelosi said,
"And we went to the Patola Palace and we saw the room where His Holiness lived. And we promised each other then and there that we would do everything in our power to make sure he would return to that place." To some in China, the authentic, autonomous Tibet is inconceivable. To us, it is inevitable. It is inevitable. And so we must shorten the distance between the inconceivable to them and the inevitable to us. Working together, we will do that. We will make sure they will see the light. I'm certain that with your devotion, your determination, your commitment to Tibetan values, culture, language, religion, and under the leadership of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who will live to be at least 113 years old, I am certain that we will succeed.
President of Central Tibetan Administration Dr. Lobsang Sengye in his welcome address described His Holiness the Dalai Lama as the life and soul of Tibet.
His Holiness the Dalai Lama, we believe, is the manifestation of Buddha of compassion, generosity. Generosity and Tibet are inseparable. Dalai Lamas and Tibetan people are forever connected. As long as there is Tibet, as long as there is Tibetan people, His Holiness the Dalai Lama will return to this world to alleviate the sufferings of the Tibetan people forever.
Khenpo Sonam Temple, the Speaker of the Tibetan Parliament in exile, in his address said the delegation sends a message of hope for Tibetans inside Tibet. Members of delegation Representative Jim Sensenbrenner, Representative Elliot Engel, Representative Jim McGovern and Representative Pramila Jayapal assured the bipartisan support of the United States Congress on Tibet, love and respect for His Holiness the Dalai Lama and continued support for Tibet's cause. At a meeting with the Kashak led by President Dr. Lobsang Sengye this Tuesday, the United States House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi lauded the CTA's outstanding leadership. President Dr. Sengye welcomed the delegates and thanked Leader Pelosi for fulfilling the 8 promises, 2 of which were to visit Tibet and Dharamshala. Dr. Sengye also spoke of Kashak's 550 vision that calls for maximizing efforts to resolve the Tibet issue in 5 years based on the middle way approach while ensuring CTA's resilience to sustain the Tibetan freedom struggle and preserve Tibetan culture for the next 50 years if needed. Leader Pelosi lauded Kashak for providing outstanding leadership to the Tibetan people and called the exiled democracy as an incredible democracy. Leader Pelosi said Kashak's 550 vision is premised on hope, optimism and success and said Dr. Sengye is a source of pride for all who care for Tibet. The 8-member United States congressional delegation led by United States House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi was on a 2-day visit to the exiled seat of His Holiness the Dalai Lama to reaffirm the United States' continued support on the Tibet issue. The delegation met with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, President of the CTA, Speaker of Tibetan Parliament in Exile, and Tibetan women leaders. They also visited Tibetan Children's Village and Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts for an evening of Tibetan food and cultural performances. 4 members of the delegation were also a part of congressional delegation that visited Tibet in November 2015. This is the second visit of the United States bipartisan congressional delegation to Dharamsala. The first visit was in the year 2008 after the pan-Tibet uprising of the year to express solidarity with the Tibetans. On Wednesday this week, the media team of the Department of Information and International Relations secured an exclusive press interaction with the United States congressional delegation led by leader Nancy Pelosi in Dharamshala. CTA's press officer Jampil Shuno, who is also the editor of Tibet.net, hosted the 10-minute interaction. Please watch some of the highlights.
Leader Pelosi, first of all, just a warm welcome to Dharamshala.
Hope that we see in the leadership of the Tibetans in exile so many reasons to be hopeful.
Well, the American government can do what we've done so many times in the past, is that raise these concerns with Chinese officials.
I think we would all love to go back to Tibet. I'm not sure if the Chinese government would give us a visa.
We were just so impressed to see all the young girls at the school we went to just yesterday.
I was so pleased to see and impressed by the fact that they thought so much about how they could advance the status of women in the Tibetan community.
And women in media, women in education, and also one of the things we talked about this morning with USAID was how we can be more helpful with technology.
The first woman speaker in the history of the United States.
That is all for today. See you next Friday. Have a good weekend.